Sometimes a book finds you in that quiet space between walking and dreaming, where imagination hasn't learned its limits yet. These are the stories that invite you to believe just a little longer. Now, I've got an author I'd like you to meet who opens the door to a child's bedroom and lets a dragon step through, not as something to fear, but as a guide into adventure. Stick around because you'll not only learn more about this book, you'll learn more about the writing voyage this author took to create it.
Welcome to A Book Finds You podcast. This week's guest is Jennifer Joseph. Join us as she shares the inspiration behind her book, along with her writing process, routines, and challenges. And now here's your host, best-selling author, Rob Jellis.
Today's guest, Jennifer Joseph, has worked as a tutor for over 20 years and enjoys the challenge of improving a middle or high school student's ability to succeed academically. She continues her important literary specialist work as a resume writer, tutor, and editor for Reading Writing Resume. The 2025 publication of The Magical Adventures of Carly and Her Dragon bring her great joy sharing her love of reading with many children. We're happy to have you with us and welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Well, it's great to be here today.
There you go. It's a pleasure to have you here. I want to dive right in, talk about that latest book and how the book and the dragon found you.
Honestly, it was like a light bulb just appeared above my head, and there was this idea. And I've been a voracious reader my entire life, but I always thought, wow, I wonder what it must be like to be a writer. And I had never really thought seriously about it until I was out with a friend and when we were window shopping and bink, there it was, this idea. But I had young kids, so I had no time. So I nurtured this idea once I was able to think about it, and I kept a notebook with all my ideas. And when I was ready to write it, it was almost fully formed. It was kind of neat. The idea found me,
Right.
which is not that unusual for me. Like ideas just sort of pop in my head for like all kinds of things. So not unusual, but this was a big idea. And I was like, I got to do something with this.
How long ago did it smack you in the head? How long ago did this big idea start
About
nesting?
a decade ago.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say that, one of the reasons why we started the show is because throughout my career, I've never met an author who said, well, I was looking for this book and found this idea. It finds us. So thus the title of the show. And I always smile when I ask that first question because I still haven't heard anybody say, I don't know what you mean. You know, it comes right after us and it won't let us go for you 10 years. So 10 years ago, it sort of presented itself. When did you start putting your fingers on a keyboard and start writing?
About 5 years ago, I started, really digging into the details of it. Okay, well, here's this idea, but you have to fully develop it. The characters, what happens in the story. Okay, there are adventures. Where do they go? And I had like 10 ideas for all these places they could go. And I'm like, all right, I got to pick some that young kids can relate to. And so I'd say I probably sat with it for 2 years, like the characters and what are their names and how old are they? Oh, wait, this one's too old. And then, at 13, they won't believe in dragons. The oldest sister won't believe in dragons anymore. And I had to like tweak it and nurture it until it really felt like it fit.
Yeah.
And my daughter is the inspiration for Carly. So that's really cool.
I had a feeling there was a Carly member of the family.
Yeah, no, and so when I was pregnant with my daughter, we had two names picked out for her, and Carly was the other one. So that's who the main character came to be. And my daughter, in fact, is in college, and she's told some people that, hey, I'm the main character in this book, and they go, no way. It's one of those epic no way moments. And they're like, seriously? And she shows them the book with the dedication. And she's like, see, that's me.
Wow.
So that's kind of neat.
It's very neat. Yeah, it really is. And it's funny, I'll sneak people's names in some of my books, but mine are more business books, so I'll just sort of
Right.
sneak them in. But that must be wonderful for her. You know, it's interesting because when we think of a dragon, a lot of times we think of fear. But with
Yeah.
you, the story may begin with fear, but I think it shifts to curiosity. Uh, why was
Yes.
it important for you to let kind of courage grow naturally within this book?
Because she's 8,
Mhm.
right? And we start to develop courage when we're kids and we start to, okay, I'm a little scared, but I'm gonna explore this. And it's like courage. I wanted to model courage so that young kids could see, okay, maybe he's a little scary, but I also purposely defined him as medium-sized and rainbow colored. What could be frightening about a rainbow colored dragon, right?
Right.
So I thought if there's going to be a dragon, the dragon has to be not scary and like old enough to be older than her, but young enough to not be like he can't be her age. He has to be like a year or two older. Um, because and dragons can fly, hence the transportation to the destinations.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. What I like about what you're doing is I think sometimes we try and sort of force courage onto people.
Right,
You know, you must be brave. And yet you're dealing with something when you really look back on it, and you and I, you know, we're not in our teens anymore.
right.
When we reflect back on our life, what are some of the greatest moments of our life when we were able to accept, be courageous? What were some of the more
Yes,
disappointing moments in our life when we let fear hold us back? So I think it's a
absolutely.
really important topic you're tackling.
Well, and the other thing is that in the book, when the first night the dragon appears in her room, she is scared. And he says, it's okay. I'll come back tomorrow night
Right,
and lets her just sit with it. He doesn't have to be like, be my friend, let's hug. I mean, because
right,
then that's going to be like, okay, what's the point of the story? All
right,
right. So I didn't want to force it, just like introduce it. And then by the next night, she's like, all right, hold on. Because he said he could see my dreams. And now she goes, maybe not so scary. If he can see my dreams, and he said, I'll come back tomorrow when you're ready to, when you've thought about it, he gave her space to just come to her own decision, which is the other thing is that, it's not a force. It becomes, as you say, curiosity.
right, right. Have you ever seen the movie Defending Your Life?
I have, and I love
Right.
that movie.
Right. For those who are listening, we've just bonded on that because if you have, you know where I'm going. It really looks at our lives, and it's just one, comedians and writers' version of this, but breaks down what really life is about, which is overcoming our fears. And if we've
Yes.
done that, we've lived a good life. I think it does a beautiful job of that. So that's why I keep pressing this button here of to me, this is one of the most important topics we can tackle. And I like the
Yes.
fact that I think the only way we can tackle it, I'm talking to the author, you tell me, is not to force it, right? Um,
No, because I mean, I can remember back, I was never a joiner when I was younger. I had a hard time making my way socially, and I was forced to do multiple activities. Just go do it. And I was
right,
like, I don't know how. What do I do? What if nobody talks to me? And I've been forced.
right,
So like I refuse to force my daughter into activities when I said to her, when there's something you want to do, you let me know.
right,
And she was 12 when she said, I want to do Girl Scouts. And I was like, great, let's go find something that works for you.
right,
Took her to the first meeting and she said, this is not a good fit. Okay, we move on. We find a good fit. I just like, I don't, I mean, like, I seriously believe in do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. And I didn't like being forced.
right,
And so why would I force my character to be like okay, I'm scared, but okay, I'll talk to you. No, when we're scared, we step back.
Yeah.
And so this dragon, he gets it. He goes, okay, listen, I'm pretty big and the room's dark. And maybe I should just let her think about it for a minute.
Yeah, but what you're modeling, what you're saying though, and now we can, it's funny. I can see where this is all developed in your brain, which is you've just told a story how with your own daughter, you've really been very careful not to force things and let
Right.
sort of her come to this, which is tremendous parenting, which I'm not so sure the previous generation had down quite so well, you
Oh,
know.
it's different. I
Right,
mean, it's parenting is different now than it was 20 or 40 years ago. I'm not saying one's better than the others. I mean, a little push, there's a difference between a push and a force.
right.
I was pushed plenty of times and I'm glad I was pushed. But force is different.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah. All right, let's climb into your writing journey on this a little
Okay.
bit. It's interesting, kind of presented itself about a decade ago. It really was nibbling away. A lot of people struggle with this. How do you know when that idea that's been percolating for so long is really worth pursuing? Because this is where we lose some of our writers.
Yeah. I'm a list maker, and I had made a list within this notebook of all the things I needed to develop because I like a list. I like to obliterate the item on the list when I'm done. And I had gone through my list, and everything on that list was obliterated. And I was like, oh, well, it looks like I'm ready. There's no time like the present. I really was like, if you've checked everything off the list, the plot, the adventures, the characters, well, where are they going? Oh, and I've done the research. And so once I had like checked off everything on the list, I was like, oh, and I kind of surprised myself. I was like, it's time to write. Is that that's a question. It's time to write. Yeah. Okay. I know, the adventure I'm going to write about. I know how many steps there are in the lighthouse. I know which lighthouse I'm going to. It really was like all my ducks were in line. And I'm
Right.
like, and I talked to myself. I was talking to myself and I'm going, you've been thinking about this for 5 years. Hello, just write it. It was
Right.
like my inner voice was like berating me a little bit to just do it. You're ready. Do it.
Yeah. But you know what? I
Um,
wish your inner voice would come out and some other people would hear that because a lot of people get stuck right where you got stuck or stayed until you just basically demanded yourself to move because it's not that you were procrastinating, uh, although we could almost use that word, and I don't mean it in an offensive way because
yeah,
a procrastination is not laziness. It's reprioritizing other activities in front of activities that we really need to get to. So we'll have a
right,
full day, an exhausting day, a very productive day. We just didn't get to the one thing that we said we were going to do today. Uh,
right.
so, and that's where, again, where people get stuck. It's not that they're sitting there with nothing to do. They'll find things to do.
My
Right.
cup runneth over on any average day, and I was like, this thing isn't going to write itself. You have to want to do it. And it's
Right.
and the because I do so many things on any given day, I'm editing a book now. So I'm doing editing for a company. I'm tutoring. I am still the wife in this home.
Right.
And, on any given day, there are 10 things I have to do. But if you like chop up your day into pieces and go, all right, I'm going to spend an hour today writing this and an hour doing editing, and, I got to make dinner at 4 o'clock. It's like you can, I mean, this is what I teach my students with tutoring is like you break projects up into pieces. So you could break
Right.
your day up into pieces. And I'm like, this is not, again, my inner voice going, this is not scary. Give
Right.
it an hour today and an hour because I've outlined it. So, once you have a firm outline, you can pick it up tomorrow and the day after and the day after. So once I had that solid outline, I've thought everything through. I just need to write it now.
Right.
And I came across a quote. I should have pulled it. It's across the room, but it was about writing. It was like crossing about, pulling that book from your chest and crossing the plains of procrastination and the mountain of I can't do it. And I thought, I'm at the base of that mountain.
Right. Right.
And I just need to start to climb the mountain and write the book.
Yep. Yeah, I have a similar poem. I don't know if it's actually a poem, but we should put it up on the Maryland Writers Association website. It's I'll paraphrase it partially. Planning to write is not writing. Thinking about writing is not writing. Researching to write is not writing.
Yeah.
And a few more. Writing is writing. Okay.
Yes.
And so at some point we have to sort of cut the tape and get going. Did you have
Just do it.
a daily writing routine that you would do, or it sounds like you were trying to fit it into a very busy schedule.
I would say I spent an hour to two every day at some point because each day was different.
Right.
I'd say 5 to 6 days a week, I was writing until it was done.
Right.
And some days I would go back and revisit writing could also mean wait a minute, I lost track of what day it was, because like the story takes place over like a 2 week or so timeline. And I was like, wait, I don't know what day it is. Wait, let me go back. So sometimes I was going back and just like checking to make sure that I wasn't saying it's Thursday when really it's Saturday, right? But honestly, for me, it was just like, okay, I need to dedicate an hour or two every day. That could be at 9 today, but tomorrow it's 3 p.m. Um, and I read a book about writing, and that's the writer, famous writer, was like, hey, you have to set aside time every day,
Yep.
whether it's the same time or it's a block of time, every day you got to write.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and this way you take off bite-sized pieces because I don't have 6 hours to set aside on
Right.
any given day.
Yeah.
And I don't want to write for 6 hours. It's not my bag.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a long time ago, there was a lawsuit about when we all had DVRs and the lights would blink when they become unplugged. And for particularly, typically older people, the blinking light would drive them nuts. And the company said, for $20, we'll have that solved for you. And there was a lawsuit which the company won for mail fraud because they sent out a black piece of electrical tape. They said, now it's solved.
Oh,
Just tape it
oh
over the
my.
clock. So the reason why I'm bringing that story up is I had a client, no time, no time, no time, no time. I felt like I was like that company. I said, what time do you get up? 7 o'clock every day. I said, okay, now
Yes,
you get up at 6 o'clock every day. We just found
right.
an hour. No emails, nothing. 1 hour of writing.
Nothing.
Look what we found.
Right.
And the guy wrote a book.
Right.
But
No,
we got to
no,
find it.
when I talk to my tutoring students all the time, they don't understand. I go, okay, so when's your homework block or your study block every day? And they go, I don't have time. And I go, here's a piece of paper with like a 7 a.m. to midnight. Now, Phil, when are you in school? Okay. When's your after school activity? What about your snack? What about dinner? What about bedtime? Well, what's left? And they go, oh, there's time left. Yes, there is. Now fill it in. Whether you use it every day or not is irrelevant.
Right.
Just make sure you're aware of it.
Right.
Put in those 2 hours from 6 to 8 p.m. and that'll be your work block. And they go, that seems really simple. And I go, I know, because you can see the whole week all the time. There's
Right.
no awareness, less awareness of like time and how much you have of it. It just, it involves becoming aware, honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then doing it.
Yeah, it's a huge issue for so many people. For me, sometimes when I'm in a writing mode, I actually go to the library, go back into the research room where no
Oh,
one's allowed to talk, nothing, and
yes.
I will not even let myself get online. I don't want to
Right.
see emails, nothing. I could do that back in my office,
You leave
and
the apps
but
closed.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
actually physically go there and it works for me because for me, I used to travel a great deal for business. I always wrote in the air. That was easy. Now I don't
Yes.
travel as much. So each person has to find their own way. How about the marketing part of your journey and promotion? Um, you've got the book written. What are you doing to market it and promote it?
I'm doing what I know to do, but I keep learning, and thanks to you, I've learned more
Right.
about the other things I need to do.
Hmm.
I am trying to get into the libraries, but I don't have enough reviews yet. I am in 4 bookstores. Um, because I drove to Boonesboro and I, turned the page bookstore and hi, I have a book. And they go, "We love it." So I presented myself at three of them and then the other one was an email and they took it. So I'm in bookstores because I was a substitute teacher for 7 years. I read the book at my kids' school, elementary school, and the teachers were talking it up because I've known the teachers forever. So I'm doing that. I am not posting as often as much as I need to, but I'm working on that. Podcast, thank to you. I was on another podcast too, so I'm working on that.
Excellent.
Um, I'm working in getting to events. Actually, I'm going to be at the University of Maryland, Maryland Day. The Alumni Association in the Alumni Building, they're setting up like a book fair
Did
at
you just get
University of Maryland.
contacted on that a
I
couple
did
days
beginning of the
ago?
week.
Yeah, I
Beginning
did
of the week.
too.
Yeah,
So
might
I'm
see you
I'm
there.
scratching my head thinking I might do it. I've done it before, but and they usually make it a really nice program. And that's a good marketing tip you just threw out
Yeah,
because you and
and
I are
and the
turfs.
Gaithersburg Book Festival. I'm
Good.
trying. I've signed up. It's a juried. You have to be approved by a group of folks who review the form. So maybe the Gaithersburg Book Festival. So I'm looking around at events, the Alney Farmers Market too. So I'm like starting to identify places where I could set up a table. So I'm doing that too because online is great, but if I'm standing there and they can see me and the book and that makes a difference. It's the connection you make. So I'm working on attending some events. I'm connecting with the GGCC to Gaithersburg Germantown Chamber of Commerce. And it's sort of, that's what I've been attempting to do. I'm
Right.
sure there are other ways I should market,
Right. What
but
about the website?
on my website, my book is on my website, Reading Writing Resume, so it's there too. Yeah, I'm working on a Facebook page for the book too.
Right.
Um, so I keep pushing, learning, trying,
Good.
and I need to
Good.
post more. So I
Good.
will.
I think it's a little like sports, with my kids at least, they wanted to play all the sports and which was fine, but we kind of said, let's pick one, maybe two, but let's pick one and
Because
really
I can't
focus
split
on it and
myself
get
up.
good at it. Yeah. I think that social media, at least to me, I can't be everywhere. I don't have time for a whole lot of it, but I want to get good at one part of it and one
Right,
size doesn't fit all. I'm a business author, so for me it's LinkedIn a lot. Uh,
right.
what is your social media, you know, soup du jour? Which
I
one do you
mean,
like?
I'm on social media. I'm on LinkedIn for the business.
Hmm.
Facebook is probably a better alignment for my book. And I'm in multiple groups, writers, editors, children's book writers. I need to get into the parent group Facebook pages. And I think that's going to be a better alignment for promoting the book than LinkedIn. It's a
Oh
different
no.
audience.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, you don't want LinkedIn for you and your dragon.
No, no. I mean, I'll post an announcement like when I'm on a podcast, I'll
Right.
post an announcement because
Mhm.
even if somebody is a business person, they're still a parent first.
Yeah,
And so if they're parents, they'll go and look. But
right.
Facebook is probably better. I'm not well versed in Instagram yet, and I need to be probably, and YouTube, and my daughter will help me with that, I'm
Good,
sure.
good. I will tell you that just as an aside, I've been experimenting a little bit and creating little shorts of like a conversation we're having here, but little 30-second, 40-second pieces. And I sometimes will put an entire podcast up that I'm not proud of it. They may get 100 views. I put up a clip a day ago. It's got almost 2,000 views on it.
Wow.
And so, again, we have to figure out what our audience tolerates and
Yeah.
likes. It's intelligently titled. I've got about 20 of those clips up. This one has the best title on it, meaning it really grabs you. And what a coincidence! It's getting a lot of eyes on it. So maybe some clips. And one other thing, I just want to pat you on the back. I want people to hear that one of the reasons why you want to get on podcasts is because now you do have some media to
Yes.
edit and fix. And so hopefully what we'll do when we're done here is we'll get you the MP4 of this, we'll get you the MP3 of this. We don't want to put the whole thing up, but those little 30 seconds here and 20 seconds there also make it easier for more podcasters, hosts to see what you
Yes.
look like and see what you sound
Yes.
like. And so it's a very good form of promotion.
Yes, so you've told me, and some of my friends and family, I actually heard a really nice comment from my sister-in-law who I was on a podcast to talk about tutoring and process of writing and executive function, etc. And she said, "Oh, you've talked." She spoke to my husband and said, "Jennifer's talked all these years about what she does, but the podcast really helped to fully explain, and now I understand better what she does when she's sitting with a student." And I'm like, "Well, that's a really lovely compliment. I'll take it. Thank you." So that was nice. So podcasts do help to explain things too.
They do. They help reach audiences, and so folks who are listening, just keep scrambling. There are plenty of hosts that are looking for you. Just you've heard Jennifer say a few times that, like you told me, Jennifer and I worked together a little bit on a program, on a book marketing program. So that's where that reference is coming from. But it's lots of little ideas, and this being one of them. But I just feel we have a responsibility to fight for our books. I can't control their success, but I can control the effort that we put behind it. And that's what we're after. So kudos to you for following through on that and getting on the show. How, in your mind, how has your writing process evolved over time, or has it?
I've always been somebody who outlines.
I
I
could tell.
can't I can't create without an outline. I don't remember everything I thought of today, you
Right.
know, 4 days from now. So without an outline, I'm kind of lost. I don't know how you evolve past that if like because that's what helps me with my writing, honestly, is that a solid outline. Because if I'm going to write over a period of weeks to months, I mean, for me, I have to have a solid outline. I don't know if, I mean, I want to say I evolved beyond that, but I can't.
Right.
But absolutely, it's like now that I've written one book, I've started the follow-up book to this one, whereby, because at the end of this book, the main character Carly and her siblings, um, the siblings have met dragons, the siblings of Carly's dragon. And so they have separate adventures. And then there's one they go on together. So for example, the brother is going to is going to go to the place of the first Olympics. And the sister is going to go to the Statue of Liberty because, 10-year-old girl power. We gotta do this. And then I did some deep research about elephants. I'm going to work them in somewhere. Maybe they'll all go on a elephant ride in the next book. So working on that one. So I want to say that now writing the second book, I'm way less hesitant
Good.
and I feel more sure of my writing chops and the ability to create this. And yes, it's the same characters, but it feels easier in some ways. It's like I don't have as I'm not concerned. I don't have as many questions about how do I do this? What am I doing? I kind of know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how I'm evolving. Still
Yeah.
with an outline.
Yeah. You know, if I were hitting a bell for every time you said outline on this show, I'd have hit it about 20 times now. And before you think
I
I'm
am I
you're an
am a
outliner.
tutor.
Yes. Before you think I'm giving you a hard time, please note that I've never written a book without a fully fleshed out outline. It gives me confidence. I feel like I'm
Yes.
Mr. Monk walking into a room and I can see the event, all of it.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
not that I'll speak for me and maybe you too. It's not that the outline doesn't expand and contract and shift, but it gives
Absolutely.
me peace to know I've got a path that I'm ready to follow, as opposed to
Yes.
putting my hands on the keyboard and writing "Call me Ishmael." There's a lot of words I've got to still come up with.
Well,
So
and
yeah,
and for me, it's the enemy of a blank page.
yeah,
Because once you've created an outline, there's no blank page.
right,
And in fact, because I sat and thought with it so long, I had even written, because it came to me one day, the opening paragraph. Because this happens to me with like mundane things too. I'll be doing something and I'm trying to work. I've been thinking, oh, well, how am I going to work out this thing? And when I'm like exercising or doing something else, the solution just pops in my head fully formed. So this is not new for me.
Right.
But the opening paragraph fell into my mind fully formed, and I was like, quick, write it down. And so when I started writing, I had the opening paragraph ready. So there was no blank page.
Yeah.
Like that for me is like, oh, I hate that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is a little hard getting that first paragraph going. So I like the
Yes.
fact that you had some ideas there. I'm the same way. I'm usually dreaming that first chapter and first page and first paragraph,
Yes.
and then just sort of we trust ourselves, and we build momentum, and to just keep going. Well, I wish you luck with the second book because,
Thank
as
you.
they say, or maybe it's just me, but I think somebody told me this: you write a book, you're an author. You write a second book, you're a writer. So
I
that's your
I
next.
I desperately want to be a writer.
Well, you know where you start building that path. Start building that path. I got one
Yes,
last
yes, I
question
will.
for you,
Yes.
and I always love finishing this way if we can. We've got people that are listening, and again, I think I want to inspire people with this show who are thinking about writing a book because you now know what other writers and authors know, which is whatever dream you had, it's even better. Okay, it's a
Yes.
tremendous accomplishment. So
Yes.
we want to share that with other people. What would you tell somebody right now who's sitting there and thinking, "Bah, this thing's been dogging me for 6 years. I got to get it going." What would you tell them to give them a little nudge?
Write it down, build your ideas, form your plan, and then don't wait 10 years. Just do it.
Right.
Because I could have had 3 books out by now. Don't wait. Like, time is the enemy. Don't wait. There's no reason to wait.
Yeah.
Because look, say you start it and you go, oh, it's bad. Rework the outline and redo it. It's not bad to start again
Right.
or change the character or, an outline is a living thing.
Yeah.
There's no restart. Just do it. Don't wait.
Like Nike. I don't think I've ever said this on this show, but I'm gonna throw in an idea. I want people who are listening right now who are thinking about writing a book. I want you to throw up on the window, metaphorically speaking. I want you to
Yes.
tell people about it. I want you to tell people, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to write a book. And I know that anyone here is going, oh my goodness, why would I do that? Then I'm going to have to, finish the sentence,
Do it.
write the book. Okay, do it. So
Huh?
I think our instinct is off. I think our instinct is to not tell anyone and to make it very private. And I think when we tell people, we become a little bit more accountable. And now we go, well,
That's
I told my family I got to get down and get this thing written.
that's what I did, honestly. I
Yeah.
started telling people because it was just me. And I was like,
Right.
if other people know, they're going to ask me about it.
Right.
And then I'm going to have to say, I started it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what I did, honestly,
Yeah.
because I started
Good.
telling people.
Good. And wasn't there a voice in your head that was almost fighting you, going, "What are we doing this for? Why do
Oh,
we want?"
why
Yeah.
are you, stop.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, smart move. You're what we call in training an unconscious competent. That was a
Yeah.
very natural, smart move that you made, and it probably paid off dividends. Look, terrific talking to you. Really,
Yes, as
so
always.
happy for your book. I want you to get that second one going, and we'll have you back on when you do. And how do people get a hold of you?
You can find me at readingwritingresume.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Jennifer Joseph. There are a lot of them. Just look for me by my business name, readingwritingresume.com. And I'm not yet on the other social medias, but you can find me in those 2 places.
Perfect. Okay. Well, glad I found you. Terrific job. I wish you nothing but success with the book. And thanks so much for being on the show.
No, thank you for inviting me. I always love talking with you.
Wonderful. Thank you, by the way. Well, we'll do it again as well as we can next time, everybody. Until then, stay safe.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's guest author, we'd love you to rate, review, and share this episode with others. If you'd like more information on today's guest or the Maryland Writers Association, please visit our website at marylandwriters.org. You can also hear a brief history of the Maryland Writers Association by listening to episode 0.